p.m. on the First TV, Samsung TV Plus. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Good morning, Friday, freedom lovers. Kenny Williams.
Good morning, Vic Porcelli. Happy Friday to you.
You too. How you doing, baby?
Good.
All right, listen, bang show today. Holy cow. So the numbers came out. GDP numbers, inflation data. You think they were good? I'm thinking that they probably weren't good, but I'm not an economist. But you know who is? Dr. Aaron Hedlund, chief economist at the Show Me Institute. He'll be along in just seconds. Mr. Connor's Neighborhood at 9:25. I can't stop listening to Larry Connor's USA at 6 to 8 o'clock. And he keeps me in my car. You know, I'm like, now I got to sit in the car in my driveway because I get so into what he says.
It's his voice, it's his content, it's his delivery, it's everything happening right now in the United States, and you can't get away from it.
You can't skip it. Jay Ashcroft, Missouri Secretary of State, will join us at 9:41. We'll ask him what exactly was he talking about at that Lincoln Days dinner when the big dust-up happened with him and Danny Hoskins. Just want to know what his 3 minutes were about. The speakers get 3 minutes each. And what was he talking about?
Right.
Because it had to be what started the big dust-up. Dust-up, is that a good...
little bit. Yeah, because that's all it was.
It was dust-up. Yeah. Susie Moore, boy, do we have stuff to talk to Susie Moore about. The Supreme Court hearing, should presidents be immune to prosecution while they're in office or for things that they've done in office. The Trump trial going on with Peckerhead, who's been testifying for the last 3 days. And 10:25 today, we are so excited to have... That's Peckerhead from the court trial. 10:25, we're so excited to have Tom Shilleu, and he's going to be at the Funny Bone in St. Charles all weekend, and he's taking time to come in and hang out with us at 10:25. We'll see if we can get him to hang out for the Wheel of Audio clips.
And you know him from the Gutfeld show on Fox.
No. Oh, yeah. Sorry. All right, Ken, who leads us this morning?
It's from an unnamed fourth grade class.
Is that right?
Yeah,
okay, unnamed fourth graders, go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The best it's ever been said.
I love when kids do it, because they have to do it in that kid's cadence.
Right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, right? They all do it exactly that way. Absolutely love it.
They never miss a word.
No, they don't. I love patriotic kids. Okay, let's talk about numbers. Let's talk about GDP. Let's talk about inflation. Best guy to talk to about that, Dr. Aaron Hedlund, chief economist at Show Me Institute. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well. How about you?
Oh, okay. Doing all right. So let's start with the GDP numbers, okay? The GDP never has been very good under Joe Biden at all, right?
Well, that's the funny thing. So it's been very mediocre under his presidency thus far, but they kind of jumped on the number at the end of last year, which was decent, right? They kind of puffed it up to be this amazing number. It never was.
Right.
We actually added more debt to the economy last year than we did goods and services. But here's the thing. The first quarter data just came in for this year, and it's bad. I mean, GDP growth was only 1.6%. So not only are we adding tons of debt, but the economy is growing even more slowly.
And I have to ask you, he talks every speech he does. He says how he lowered the debt or lowered the deficit by $1 trillion. Did he really do that, or did he not do that?
Well, it depends if you think, suppose next month I borrow $20,000,
right,
and then the month after that I only borrow $15,000.
Right.
Well, you consider that lowering debt,
right,
maybe so, but it definitely has gone up tremendously under his watch.
Yeah, you watch the debt clock, and it's just spinning out of control, and apparently Dr. Hedlund, isn't it true that Joe Biden, his administration, has given or actually created more debt than any other president in modern history?
I mean, they dramatically added to the debt, and the thing is, there's no rationale whatsoever. I mean, we should never be adding at this pace, no matter what's going on. But when he came into office, the economy was rapidly rebounding. There was nothing to rescue. You might remember that very first stimulus bill they called the American Rescue Plan Act. Well, the only thing people need rescuing from is the low growth and high inflation over the past few years.
Yeah. I also remember when they called it the Inflation Reduction Act. I don't think that was, they're thinking, well, if we just name it this, people will think we're reducing, inflation. Speaking of inflation, how'd that go?
Also not good.
Yeah.
So the measure that the Fed looks at came in above 3%. And actually, one of the core measures was actually getting close to 4%. So this is a pretty big jump from the end of last year, and it's sort of consistently been well above 2%. So 2% is kind of what the Fed says they're targeting. Now, it's important to remember the context that if you go from January 2021 until now, prices have increased cumulatively by above 20%. And if we were measuring it the way we used to measure it before 1983, it would be almost twice that. So people are feeling the pain, which also means that, frankly, we're probably not going to see Fed rate cuts anytime soon.
Is that good or bad?
Well, it's certainly bad if you're trying to get into the housing market. I mean, mortgage rates are still above 7%. So if you were to get a $400,000 house, let's say, your monthly payment is around $1,400 more per month than it was back when rates were closer to 3%. So that's not a $1,400 total payment. That's the increase in payment. So it's definitely very bad news that inflation's high like this, and it's completely artificial. This is a policy-induced cost of living crisis that we're in the middle of.
All right. We're talking to Dr. Aaron Hedlund, chief economist at the Show Me Institute. Dr. Hedlund, you've been doing this a long time, right? You've been watching this kind of stuff for a long time. It's your life. It's what you think about 24/7. Have you ever seen a president or an administration say how well they're doing when they're not doing well at all? I mean, when they say, oh, when we took office, inflation was at 9%. Yeah, I don't think it was, right?
Well, there's that old movie, a dodgeball. It's a bold strategy, Cotton, and and that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're just trying to. If they figure that enough people, if they hear it several times, will just start to believe it. I don't think it's working, but it is an interesting way to go about it.
But how do you call them out? I mean, you never see the Today Show say, well, Joe Biden lied about, what he's doing economically for the country. You never hear them say that, so he just gets away with it because the only people that are calling him out are conservative radio stations like this and conservative networks, which are 3 or 4, right? And so I guess he just gets to go away with it. And do you think people really believe him?
I mean, I'm sure there are some who they'll go to those kind of media outlets that are kind of pushing the company line, and they'll maybe believe it. But I think most people, they recognize when they're going to the gas pump, when they're going to the checkout counter, when they're trying to buy a house, they know something's wrong. They know things are really expensive. So there's only so much that PR can gaslight people, but that's really the only card that the current federal government has to play.
Yeah, and I talk about it all the time because and I'm not being funny here. I'm trying to really be serious. That you see a poll, right? If I were like a poll company like Rasmussen or Harris or something like that, I'd take 1,000 people and say, how do you think Joe Biden's doing, his job approval? And then I take those same 1,000 people and say, well, who would you vote for? Because I don't understand how everybody says, no, he doesn't know what he's doing. I don't approve of what he's doing, but yet I'll vote for him because the same poll will have, nobody thinks he's doing a good job, but yet the polls have him just behind by 2 points or so. As somebody who's good at math, does that work mathematically?
Yeah, well, we're certainly a polarized country, and so you will have people who are dissatisfied and yet keep doing the same thing. But we'll see. There's several months left, and we'll kind of see how the things shake out.
Yeah, I guess so. So I think this administration too is so anti-farmer, right? Probably one of the first occupations in this country when somebody realized they could put a seed in the ground and it makes food. But the potato growers, the CEO of the CEO PA, co-op potato growers, listen to how the costs have just ridden them into near disaster. I'm sorry, Ken. Okay, no problem. So what he says basically is that everything has gone up over 40%. Bidenomics has been an absolute disaster. It was better under Trump. I mean, farmers, pick on farmers. Is that really a wise decision?
I mean, it's not a wise decision, but the left has largely become beholden to the urban elite. I mean, that is really the constituency. That's all that they think about. This is why they love density. They hate it when people get single-family homes. They hate it when people live on acreage. They hate it when people are, independent contractors or self-employed or farmers. I mean, those are all things that reduce government dependence, and what they're pushing for is more of that, more government dependence.
I don't get that. I mean, I just don't get it. Why pick on the people who grow the food that we eat? I mean, I don't know. Dr. Aaron Hedlund, Chief Economist at the Show Me Institute. Thank you so much. ShowMeInstitute.org is where we find you, and it's always a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. Not good, Ken.
No, and I really wanted to play that clip. I don't know where it is. I got to find it.
Okay.
It's a very important clip. It's about the potato farmers, and it really is important.
Remember the potato famine? Remember that so many years ago?
Yeah,
is that what they want again?
Potatoes for everything.
Is that what they want?
Yeah.
They want another potato famine?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's what they want because they're stupid. Okay. Here at the radio station, we are very proud about a lot of the things that happen here and the growth of some of the great weekend shows, right? We have shows on the weekend that are just fantastic, The newest one is Dan Define, his show, which I think is on at 10 o'clock on Sunday nights. The Haunted Garage, 9 o'clock on Saturday nights. Crazy Todd Showalter with his show Saturdays at 5 o'clock. We're making the effort to give you some good entertainment on the weekends and not, just recorded crap. Nobody wants recorded. Do you want recorded crap?
No. I found the clip.
You want to do it?
Number 7.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Want to do it? This is a potato farmer saying that basically when under Trump, farming was good. Under Biden, not so much.
How's business been impacted these past 4 years?
It's definitely a challenge for our growers in the state of Pennsylvania and on the East Coast. They're all dealing with inflation. The cost of the raw potato supply to the chip manufacturers has gone up by 36 to 40% over the past 2 growing years. And they're struggling with inflation just like the rest of us. They're not only paying more for their raw products, they're paying more for cardboard, the film that the chip goes in, seasonings, the fuel it takes to ship the potatoes to the plant.
So when you hear Joe Biden blame the people that produce those products, what goes through your head?
I mean, it's an unjust blame. The snack food companies need to keep up with inflation. Their costs are more, just like our farmers' costs are more. The wages are more. They need to pay their employees more to work in the plants. And Pennsylvania leads the nation second in employing snack food industry workers.
Do you think Donald Trump can turn it around?
Hopefully. We're hoping he can. It was better 3 years ago, that's for sure.
Oh, I guess that's a vote for Trump right now. But here's what I want to say about that audio.
Yeah.
This guy isn't the only potato farmer in Pennsylvania.
No.
Right?
Right.
He's not the only farmer. Potatoes are one industry. There's all the other farming industries that are being hurt by the Biden administration. But my point is, he's a farmer in Pennsylvania, swing state, Pennsylvania.
You got that, brother.
So I don't understand, guys. And Ken, I will never, nobody, and by the way, nobody has been able to answer my question on that, that if you're polling people and overwhelming majority say they disapprove of Biden.
Right.
But then would you vote for him? Yes, I would. You'd vote for something you disapprove of? I mean, I don't understand the logic in that. I think they're lying.
A little TDS involved, I think, a little Trump derangement syndrome, but
by the voters or by the people doing the polls?
By the voters.
What about the people doing the polls? You think they're up and up?
No, not completely. I really don't. I don't know what I trust anymore. I really don't. I don't trust our government. I don't trust the media. Who knows? The only way we're going to find out is by doing it by ourselves. That whole thing with one vote, one ballot, one day. And then we'll know pretty much exactly the way it's supposed to be in one day.
Right. Tim Jones says it every day. He doesn't say it every day, but in their opening, he says that thing about the more you take away voting from Election Day, the more you're giving people the chance to commit fraud.
Yeah, and I want to say something since we're mentioning the farmers. Right now, we have listeners in Illinois that are just suffering. There are farmers out there right now that when we say, it didn't rain so much today, that sucks. Well, in fact, it's good that the sun's out. Well, they have, at that point, drought conditions. They need a lot of rain. If they don't get it, no one hears about it because it's not in the news. But these people are really, jumping through a lot of hoops right now. And Biden is putting more and more regulations. I just got an email from Sandra, listener Sandra in Illinois, that they're doing a lot of these regulations that we don't know about as the people who receive all of the benefits. We reap what they sow.
But something you said there is really important, because how many people go through their daily lives, go to their 9-to-5 jobs, and think about a farmer?
Right.
Right. And I mean, I get it. Everybody's got their own life. Everybody's got their own bills to pay and everything. Or everybody's at the grocery store. Do they think about the farmers when they're at the grocery store? That's the time to think about the farmers.
Right. And we talk about the truckers, which they do everything. We wouldn't have anything in, any salads or anything that you have at your lunch break at work if it wasn't for the farmers and if it wasn't for the truckers. So, you got to think about them a little bit, and we have to keep them in mind.
Salad? When is that exactly?
I'm just talking about in
He
general.
looked at me when he said that, your salad. I'm like, have we met? Have you not seen how fat I am? All right, let's get out of here. Big, great Friday today. And the one and only Larry Connors, Mr. Connors' Neighborhood, is next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, #1 for live and local conservative talk.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
Don't.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Now, you know what? I get it now. Now I know why Commander bites all the Secret Service agents, because Joe just goes, don't. Go ahead, bite him. Fine.
Nah, don't.
See, that's it. Go get him. Go get him. Okay, listen, selling your house can be a big, stressful thing, but it doesn't have to be. That's the crazy thing about this. If you call Rodney and Jen Wallner, the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway, all of a sudden, it's not a stressful thing, right? And why do I say that? Because the Wallner team offers great flexible commission plans. They can tailor everything to meet your needs. They have approved home buyers, so many approved home buyers ready to pull the trigger that they can sell your house maybe before it even hits the market. It's that flux capacitor time travel thing where you can sell the house before it goes on sale. I don't get it. But they can do it. The Wallner Home Selling Team also sells 15 times more homes per year than your typical realtor, and Rodney and Jen Wallner are a great husband and wife team. They are good people, right? They do great things for charity, but charity's got nothing to do with selling your house. I'm just telling you, they're good people, and they'll get the house sold, okay? They're available in Missouri and Illinois, so give them a call today at the Wallner Home Selling Team, Rodney and Jen Wallner, at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. Doug and Safe Money Radio is on 3 times every weekend, but in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com or call 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
A combat veteran with 2 bronze medals, a father of 4, and a constitutional conservative powerhouse. Come and hear Attorney General Andrew Bailey up close and in person. Picture this, the crowd's buzzing, vibes electric, as he steps up to bat on Thursday, May 2nd at 7 p.m. He hit a home run with removing a failed circuit attorney and continues to fight for law and order like no other. Put May 2nd on your calendar now and go to stlouisrepublicans.com for details.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Hey, Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros. When Christine and I bought our new house, we knew the gutters were an issue, and after meeting the Gutter Pros team, we knew that they were right for us. Gutter Pros is your all-in-one gutter service team that offers a variety of affordable solutions, and they even offer free estimates, so there's no cost to you to find out if they are right for your home, just like they were for ours. If you're having a problem with your gutters, contact the Gutter Pros now, because with Gutter Pros, water goes where they tell it to. Call them at 314-656-7195 or visit gutterpros.com.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
Join the conversation. All you have to do is say,
Hey Alexa, play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Forget about it.
On News Talk STL.
Welcome to it. 1019 94.1 News Talk STL. You know what? Now more than ever, number one for live and local conservative talk. We were talking earlier today that if you're in your car in between 6 and 8 o'clock, be prepared to sit in your driveway and wait for Larry to finish a segment because he's just that good. And let's talk to him. Morning, Caddy.
St. Louis, it's Mr. Connor's neighborhood.
It is indeed. Mr. Connors, how are you?
Good morning, Vic. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
I will have to tell you, I got a call from one of your neighbors, Vic. I got it indirectly through the police department. And they said there's a man just sitting in his car, and I don't know the way he's acting. I don't know. There's something suspicious
activity, yeah. That's why that cop came up behind me. But I said, he goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm listening to Larry Connor. He goes, oh, okay. That's fine.
And they probably added, he looks kind of shady.
Yeah, that's true. He always looks kind of shady.
Wait a minute. What the hell's going on in here?
Hey, I want to share something with you. You were talking earlier, Ken, about how you can trust anything. You mentioned the media. The other day, I'm out at John Beal Roofing, which is obviously, John and I have been friends for years, one of my sponsors for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
And we're cutting some new spots and so forth. And his CEO, Sam Maiden, took me in his office and said, I want you to hear something. And there was a clip of my voice and even my face moving in exact sync, saying some really nasty things. I said, where did you get that? I never said that. They said AI.
The AI.
AI. And I mean, it was anyone that would have seen it, if they had, they would clearly think, I see Larry saying it. It was that closely synced. I mean,
did you find out who did it?
Well, he did. He put it together just to show what could be done with it. And I said that's exactly why I had to really double and triple check some of the stories before I put them on.
Yeah.
Even if I see them, unless they're on 2 or 3, I would say, quote, news media outlets or some source that I don't really trust them, but if they all have it, then I think it's legit. But you got to be so careful.
So crazy.
A public service announcement when you're on social media, and if you hear something that's completely outrageous, and especially something if you're really all for it, like if Obama says something really crazy, double check it, triple check it. I always do that. That's my default.
Absolutely, absolutely. More so than ever.
And also, from a personal point of view, they make AI now. If you're any of your kids, if they can get a sample of your kid's voice, they can AI your kid's voice to call you and say, hey, I'm in trouble. I need money.
Yeah.
Right? That's why, when you talk to your kids, you need a code word. Ours used to be gabagool. But my wife says, why did you say that on the air? Now it's not a secret code anymore. I was like, oh, you're right. So we have a different secret code.
You changed it? Oh, good.
No, I had that same discussion with my daughters the other day with my reference to grandchildren and with them.
Yeah.
I said, you never know. I mean, you'll get one of these, and it was signed that if you can't reach them, if you're calling and you can't get them, you just have to ask the person, what's the code word?
Right.
And if they can't give you the code word, it's debunked immediately.
Daddy, I don't know what that is. I forgot. No.
No.
Gabagool.
Otherwise, I'm sorry. I guess you're going to be held for a while.
Yeah, sorry.
Better remember next
time.
Pal.
Right. I'm not coming to bail you out, whether you're AI or not. But you reminded me of a quick story, which has nothing to do with anything except people that aren't.
Well, we love Vic's stories.
Scrupulous. When I was in college, this kid that worked at the station with me, he says, "Hey, you want to make $150 doing a spot, right?
Yeah,
sure. A recorded spot, commercial. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, that's a lot of ramen noodles, right? $150.
Right.
So he gives me this address. I go to the guy, and it's in New York City. And I sit in this booth. I put on the headphones. I sign this paper. And I start reading about Panasonic Laserdisc is the ultimate in technology and sound and video, right?
What a voluminous voice you've got.
And then months later, my wife and I are in Macy's in New Jersey, and we're walking through the electronics store, and we hear my voice. I'm like, what the hell? So we went to where we heard their voice, and it's the demonstration disc. Every demonstration disc from the Panasonic laser discs had my voice on
Really?
it for $150.
Oh, you sold out cheap, didn't you?
Well, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a commercial on the radio. $150. Yeah, that's great.
That's pretty awesome, and you should have gotten a lot of money. I got one too. If you go to the Warenberg, well, it's not Warenberg anymore, yeah, not anymore.
Yeah.
But they have that big the IMAX or whatever it's
Right,
called. Yeah,
right.
yeah. I have my voice is still on there that tells you to turn off your phones and your pagers. That's how long ago this was. They've been using it every day, and I got I think tickets for it.
Oh my
You got
God!
what?
Tickets,
Movie tickets.
No, yeah, I remember, and I was in news at the time, and one of the salesmen said, "We've got a sponsor we want to get on." They were a national insurance company that's still around. I can't remember. If I throw a name out there, I'd be wrong. But he said they would like you to voice a spot. I said, "Well, in news, we can't do that."
Oh,
I'd already made the determination. I wasn't even asking the news director. We just don't do it. He said, "Well, but I have permission that you can go ahead and do it." And I said, "Well, let me check with the news director." He said, "Yeah, we're going to let it waive this time because the station needs some money." So, all right. So we're just not going to use it in the newscast. So I said, all right. I just threw a figure at him I thought would chase him away because I really didn't want to do it. I said, $1,000. He said, okay, I'll get you the script tomorrow. Oh, rats. So he came in the next day, and I'm looking at, it's a 60-second spot. I said, well, I
That's
thought it was a 30-second spot. It's 1,800. He said, okay.
Wow.
Am I going to turn that down? Of course not.
No.
And you being an anchor, right? You have such a distinctive voice. I mean, I can do that generic voice that you wouldn't even know it was me, really, But you have that distinctive voice. And everybody says, hey, that's the anchor doing that.
I get caught if I'm at Defiance and Harley Gear, and I ask for a non-alcoholic beverage while I'm on the motorcycle, and they say, oh, that voice.
That's Larry Connors. Oh, my God.
Yep.
All right. Can we talk about Donald Trump here for a little bit?
By all means, yep.
He's on trial here in New York.
Really?
And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he is. And this guy named Peckerhead is the... I tried to time that to make him choke, but I missed. And I'm watching the news, and they're putting up little graphics on what he's saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, that's nothing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Little pieces of absolutely nothing. So, I mean, I don't think they have anything.
It was a catch and kill, as he said. So he was stopping stories about Trump. What news organization has not killed stories, sometimes on their own, sometimes on direction from maybe the White House or a government agency. But here's the other thing about this. It's a, quote, hush money trial involving Stormy Daniel, the porn star, and one of their first witnesses is Pecker. Hey. Where's Weiner? We might as well bring him into this, too.
Yeah.
I love that.
That was part of his testimony.
I love that.
I'm sure the Clintons had some stories and some people killed throughout the years. You know what I mean? Why don't they ever go on trial?
Well, there will be a day of reckoning. There will be.
And the Supreme Court talking about immunity. What do you think about it? You followed news for so long. Presidents and immunity.
Yeah, I think what they're going to do, because it's much more complicated than just that straight statement. And I'll give credit to Jonathan Turley, Fox News contributor, George Washington University professor. He said they're having to sip from this cup. They didn't want this cup, but they're having to sip from it. I love the way you phrase that. And he said they have a choice to go off one cliff, that gives them full immunity, or off the other cliff, it gives them no immunity, not only for him, but future presidents. He said, I think they're going to look for a third option, which I was listening to Susie Moore this morning, as a matter of fact, and I think I caught part of it because I was running around, and I think she alluded to it as well. They'll probably kick it back to the lower courts for them to go through it again, which means it will not happen before the election day. And that was the entire intent of bringing it to begin with.
So that means that the trials can't go on.
Cannot happen before November, before the election. That deflates the balloon.
That's a small victory, right?
I think that's a win.
Yeah, it would be a win.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. If he wins any cases they've got, they're going to be jumping all over it. Now, I just saw that E. Carroll Daniels' judgment of $87 million got upheld against him. Well, they're saying now he's going to have to pay. Well, no, he doesn't. And on top of that, I'm thinking, so E. Carroll Daniel, one of the women who claimed...
E. Jean Carroll?
E. Jean Carroll. I had the wrong name. Sorry. That's right. So remember when she was joking about how, with the women of the View, how we'll go out and shopping and buy new dresses? I mean, I feel, obviously, I have daughters. Anyone that is the subject of a crime like that, but if you're making it up or mocking it or you're milking it, we have a decision to make.
She on Anderson Cooper. She said that.
You mean Cottonmouth Cooper?
Yeah. She looked at him and she was giving him some creepy look.
Yeah.
And said, "No, rape is sexy."
She did. She said that on TV,
on television,
on CNN.
And then he said, "Well, he got all flustered."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, we're gonna go to break, and then we'll come back." And she's just staring at him, and she says, "You're fascinating." And the way she did it, I got chills.
She's creepy.
You put her and Biden together. You saw Biden walking the other day holding hands with AOC. That was strange, but I'm not sure that maybe she took his hand to kind of guide and lead him.
She did.
Yeah.
So he didn't trip? So he didn't fall?
Possible.
Right, so here's the thing about this immunity thing. Right? They want to go so hard after Trump and say that you can't be immune from anything you do while you're a president. But do they realize that if they do that, it's a precedent in case they find things on Biden? What are they going to say then when they go after Biden? Oh, no, Biden gets immunity. I guarantee you that's what they're going to say.
They were warned when Adam Schiff was having his, this could come back around. And plus, Obama has released drones and missiles against civilians in different countries. Now, if he would have information I don't have, if the president makes a decision like that, I'm not in a position to question him. Which, by the way, since I brought up Adam Schiff, he went to a gathering raising money and so forth for his campaign, and he had to show up in what he had when he drove into the hotel because his baggage got stolen out of his car while he was in a San Francisco hotel. The L.A. mayor's house got broken into the other day.
Yeah.
Are they loving it or what?
Yeah, there's no problem. No problem. Larry Connors, USA, 6 to 8 o'clock every night. Don't miss it.
Thank you.
Great commentary at 7:30, 12:03, and 3:30.
Thank you very much.
He's just a good, handsome guy. Thank you,
I
Larry.
appreciate. Well, I like that really.
So handsome.
You were
Mr. Connor's Neighborhood on the Vic Porcelli Show.
I was what?
Fascinating. You gave me that look. I'd shut up.
Yeah. He gives me that look all the time.
The Forrest Gump look.
That's right.
All right, that's Larry Connors, of course. Listen to him tonight at 6 o'clock.
Thanks, Larry.
What a big bang show we got today. Wheel of Audio Clips. We hope that Tom Shilleu, who's going to join us at 10:25, will stick around for the Wheel of Audio Clips. No one said no to us yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Susie Moore, not only deputy managing editor of Red State, but a great attorney, so we'll ask her some legal questions and stuff. And coming up next, Jay Ashcroft, Missouri Secretary of State on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, #1 for live and local conservative talk.
Follow us on Rumble at News Talk STL. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
Most Americans are a $400 unexpected expense away from bankruptcy.
That's Bidenomics in action.
Made in St. Louis, for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
So I mentioned Tom Shilleu will be with us at 10:25 this morning. Even better, he's going to be at the St. Charles Funny Bone all weekend. You know, you've seen Tom Shilleu, not just on Gutfeld, Fox Nation, and all that stuff, but do you remember the Red Eye show years ago, overnight, with Tom and Greg Gutfeld? So when you go to see this guy, I mean, you are going to get such a great show, funny show, and I think different than other stand-up shows. I could be wrong. We'll ask Tom when he comes in at 10:25. I think he's great. And by the way, he hosted the Gutfeld show because Greg was on vacation until last night. He was back, and they had different hosts. You know, Dana Perino did it one night. Tyrus did it one night. Kat Timpf did it one night. Joe Mackey did it one night. He was great. And Tom did it just this past Wednesday. So be sure you go see Tom Shilleu at the St. Charles Funny Bone on the streets of St. Charles, which is just a great area, stlouisfunnybone.com, or you can get tickets at the St. Charles Funny Bone box office as well. It's Tom Shilleu at the St. Charles Funny Bone all this weekend, and coming up with us at 10:25.
On the next
Larry Connors, USA.
Another day for Donald Trump to be in court. He doesn't like it, but he's got to be there. Yet he makes the most of it.
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years, from sealing fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewstalkSTL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit connorroofing.com. That's CONNER roofing.com.
Whoosh.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
I'm Newt Gingrich, and you're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show on NewstalkSTL.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Speaker, sorry. We're going to talk to Mr. Secretary, Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft right now. Mr. Secretary, good morning. How are you? Happy birthday!
Good morning. Happy birthday. Great to talk to you. Happy Friday.
You bet. Happy Friday. All right, so I got to ask you right off the bat, and then we'll talk for a minute or so about it, and then we'll move on. What exactly were you talking about in your little 3-minute thing that when you go to these Lincoln Day events, they have different speakers, and they're all limited to 3 minutes, which I love. 3 minutes is all you get. And then the big dust-up happened with you and Denny Hoskins. What exactly were you talking about that got that whole thing going?
I think that there was just a misunderstanding on Denny's part. He's said several different things, none of which are true as to why it happened. I just talk about my what I want to see for the future of Missouri. I do talk about some failures that we've seen in the Senate where they've refused to act. But I really, unfortunately, I think it was just a misunderstanding on his part. He thought I had attacked his wife. I didn't. So I just stood there and took it.
Yep. So the one thing I hate to see at all anywhere are conservatives or Republicans fighting with Republicans. We should be fighting against Democrats, and I think that's the mindset we all have to go move it into November, right?
We need to move this state forward. Republicans are going to do a better job than Democrats. We have to get a Republican president. We have to get Donald J. Trump. There should be no doubt about that. I'll be very happy when it's truly about conservative policy instead of the primaries that we see right now.
Speaking of primaries, people want to go from the caucus that we tried this year back to a primary. Where do you go on that?
Just call your state legislator, your state senator, your state representative. Our office has been working with some state representatives on language to do that. It will require a statutory change. That was brought in when the Senate amended the election bill. It was kind of came out of nowhere for us. It wasn't in the original bill. But reach out to your legislator, let them know. We've already been working with some legislators on language that would needed to be needed to do that.
Is that an expensive thing?
It will cost the state probably $10 to $11 billion every 4 years. So, I mean, that's real money. But then again, it's making sure that the people can participate, their voice can be heard in the election, and we waste a whole lot more money than that on other things. So let's cut some spending elsewhere and make sure the people's voice is heard.
I mean, I hate to say this, okay, but when we did the caucus, I was worried because, when it's a regular primary, right, like the August primaries, we're going to hear the percentage of people that came out and voted, which is always low, and all they got to do is go in and vote. Takes 10 minutes, but when you do the caucus, you're there all day, and I think it impedes people from wanting to go and do it.
I think it can. Most caucuses took about 2 hours. It really wasn't all day, but there was that concern. I also think turnout was low because by the time we had our caucus, everybody knew who the nominee was going to be, And frankly, I think Missouri's pretty happy with Donald J. Trump being the nominee.
You bet.
It's kind of hard to know when we didn't have an open race. This one was really already decided before it got to Missouri.
Okay, you know what? In this state, it always works well. So, I'm learning about something new. Archives Alive. Can you tell me about the Archives Alive program? I never heard of this before.
Yeah, the Missouri State Archives are underneath the Secretary of State's office. We have them at the Kirkpatrick Building. This is a program where we invite 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, school children, to come to the state archives and learn some history, learn about civics, learn about government, learn about being a good citizen. And we do it by bringing out pictures and documents and artifacts from the entire history of Missouri, even before it was a state. It's a great program. Just got done with it last week. We want to invite all Missouri schools to participate in it in the future.
You know what? I'm going to ask another question, but since you mentioned schools, and I don't know if this is under your purview or if you even know it, do elementary schools and high schools in this state all have to do the Pledge of Allegiance, or is that optional?
That's not under our purview.
Okay.
No citizen of the state has to do that if they don't want to. But as for me, I'm always happy to stand up for the flag of the United States and for what it stands for.
You bet. Okay, so now what's the better party? What is that all about?
Well, it is not about gambling.
Oh, no?
It is the better party. It is some individuals that had concerns with the established parties in Missouri. They have turned in signatures to my office. We are going through those signatures. If they have the requisite number of signatures, then that will become a party that candidates may run under, just like, the Republican Party or the Democrat Party or the Libertarian Party. It's somewhat exciting, and I am happy to see more people getting involved because they want to see a change.
And more people just paying attention, I mean, the things that you hear on the mainstream media as opposed to conservative places like this one, somebody's not getting the truth, somebody's not getting the right answer, and I think that's part of what you're talking about. It's hard to get people involved when they can't even get them to pay attention.
I don't understand, Vic. Why would someone listen to anybody else but you?
Exactly right.
That's true.
Not that other Italian, just me, the better looking Italian right here.
Ooh, there is Tony, man. Tony's pretty good.
Yeah, he is pretty good. He is pretty good. I like him a lot. All right, so now the Republican Party is suing the Secretary of State's office. This is what I'm talking about. Republicans fighting against Republicans.
This is a good thing.
Oh, okay.
This is a good thing. I actually, in my unofficial capacity, asked them to sue me. There is an individual that has filed for governor in the Republican Party that was a former member of the KKK.
Oh.
And I do not think you should be allowed to run as a Republican if you're a racist. If you've ever been a member of the KKK, that's a pretty clear indication that you are a racist. So I asked the party to file that lawsuit because I don't have the authority to take them off the ballot. But this way, a judge can say, yep, if the Republican Party doesn't want a racist on the ballot, they can kick him off, and we'll kick him off. Members of the KKK have no place in the Republican Party as far as I'm concerned.
However, Mr. Secretary, they do in the Democrat Party.
I can't speak to that in my official capacity.
Robert Byrd.
Now, what I'd like to say is, when you were talking about that, I was going to say that, if you're KKK, you're probably in the Democrat Party, but Ken had to say it because of
Ken, Thunder Stealer.
That's his other function here, is to be the Thunder Stealer of
That's why he gets the awards.
That's right. That's exactly right. All right, so listen, yesterday we had, Ken, what was her name from the...
Brandy.
Meeks. Brandy what?
Meeks.
Brandy Meeks from the Vitae organization.
Yes.
Wow, is she a fighter? And she does it all very smart. She's very, the way she talks, she can kind of out-talk you, talk you out of abortion sometimes. She's really smart like that. Do you know her, and do you know about that organization?
Yeah, the Vitae organization is a wonderful organization. My family, my parents got to be a part of forming that organization. It is focused on getting the truth out about abortions. It's getting the truth out about how women can be successful and yet allow their child to be successful, their preborn child, when they're going through a difficult pregnancy. It's a wonderful organization that is all about allowing every life to be the best that it can be. It's a great organization.
It sure is. Vitae Foundation and Brandy Meeks is just a great representative of that. Which brings me to the Planned Parenthood bill that was delivered to the governor. Now, when we started talking to Brandy when she came in, I said to her, Planned Parenthood, what I would like to do is to get an auditorium full of black women, right? And say, who supports Planned Parenthood? And they'll probably all raise their hands. And then I'll say, do you know why they made Planned Parenthood? Right? Margaret Sanger made Planned Parenthood to eliminate all of you. I'm not sure they know that.
Well, not everyone would raise their hand in that group because there are great people of color that protect life, and I'm thankful for that. But yes, we do. People need to understand that Planned Parenthood was started to quote, not my word, to keep the race clean, and that is a terrible, terrible, just revolting idea that they were started specifically to attack and kill people of color.
Yep, exactly right. Okay, one more thing here, the IP legislation, how's that going?
I think it's going well. The House moved that legislation into the Senate. We'll see what the Senate does. They've got IP, they've got the budget, they've got FRA, so a couple of big things with about 3 weeks left to go.
All right, I'm sorry, I lied. One more thing. These protests that are going on at universities and stuff, I think it's a dangerous thing, Mr. Secretary. I think, 1933 in Germany looked similar to this. I mean,
this is scary. This is scary. This is why we need to enforce the rule of law. This is why we need to change our education system so that people are actually taught how to think, not what to think, not indoctrinated, taught reading, writing, and arithmetic. It is scary. We must stand up against it. We must stand for the truth. And we must not support terrorists that hold Americans hostage and that want to eviscerate and commit a genocide against a people just because of their religious beliefs. We must stand up and be counted.
All right, then.
All right, then, Kansas. All right, Battlehawks are on the road this week, but they're doing pretty well. How's the campaign going in 30 seconds?
It is going great, getting a great reception from the people. Just over 3 months left. Really appreciate the ability to serve, and I am hopeful and confident that the people of the state will allow me to continue to do so.
Perfect. Thank you. So, I'm sorry, what's the website for the campaign?
AshcroftForMissouri.com, Facebook, or AshcroftForMissouri.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy birthday. Have a
Happy
great
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
It's Friday!
I swear to God, I was just going to say, Ken, there's something we haven't heard yet today. And that was it. It's Friday. Can we check the chat box for a couple of minutes? I would love to do that. Let's start in the Rumble box. Ken likes when we start in the Rumble box. Ed Stoyd always starts us off with, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. No fair election.
No peace.
No fair election.
No peace.
Whatever happened, this is M. Ward. Whatever happened to Virginia Cruda? Well, we talk to Virginia from time to time.
Yeah, and
just
she's
not regularly.
she's on Tony and Katie.
Oh, yeah, she's all over
every
the station.
week. So, yeah.
It's Friday. Obama spied on Trump and members of Congress. That is the truth, but a lib turd would tell you no.
Right.
By the way, FISA, the F in FISA stands for foreign, not domestic. It's not DISA, it's FISA.
Oh, yeah, technicalities. The DOJ and the Biden administration overlook all that. Don't worry about that.
Who cares? Domestic part. Good Friday morning. Good morning, Vic Heads. It's Friday. So tax cuts stimulate the economy by letting people keep more of their own money to spend how they see it. Anybody got a problem with that? Ken, you got a problem with that?
Oh, no.
Why do you have this up? This is great.
It's a budget thing. It just shows you how much inflation has hit us from Biden.
So it's Trump versus Biden and inflation and how much things cost. Holy cow.
At this time in their presidencies.
Gasoline minus 2% for Trump, 47% for Biden. I'm not going through the whole thing. You can figure it out. So just go to our stream and you can read it all right there. Nice job there, Kenny. How do we know what we're hearing is Vic or AI Vic?
Yeah. I see his lips moving when he talks.
So here's real Vic. Hi, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Is that how my voice sounds to you?
No.
Here's my AI voice. Hey, how you doing?
So you can tell the difference a little bit.
And certainly not AI is, hey, how you doing? Right? That's always me. That's never AI. Got our tickets to see Tom Shilleu. Well done. Mike says, good morning, gentlemen. Merry Friday. Mike Marfell, that's the guy from the fishing show.
Yeah, Merry Friday.
Merry Friday?
Whatever.
It works.
It's Friday.
That's all the time we have for that. Go to the stream, though, and check out this great graphic that Ken put over. You didn't put that over the secretary's face, did you?
No.
I think that would be a little disrespectful.
That would have been very disrespectful.
So don't do that.
No, I'm just going to periodically put up some interesting little photos from now on. I'm going to start doing this.
Just don't put it over my face.
No, I'll try not to do that.
Because, we don't want to deprive the listeners and the watchers of our stream. Yeah. So all this handsomeness that's going on.
I will try real hard not to do that. All this handsomeness. Sometimes you wonder if people can take that much of it.
It's you know what? You're right. I don't want to overdose people on handsomeness, and that may happen. So can we have
So maybe look away a little bit if you're watching the stream once in a while, just to get away from it, to get so you can come back and be normal.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I don't know if this is the same email you got from Sandra D that I got. But I don't know if we have time for we just got a letter maybe next I don't know when we're going to do it. So can I just read a little bit of her thing?
Yeah.
Sandra sends us an email that says, peckerhead was one of my dad's favorite terms. When we hunted mushrooms, there was a kind that he called them peckerheads. And I'm just calling that guy peckerhead.
I just don't know what it is when I hear that.
It's funny, right?
It's funny to me.
And we said it, if my name was Pecker,
right,
I would change it to anything but Becker, Kecker, Fecker,
Stecker,
Checker.
Watch the
Fecker, right? Pecker, no, he is Pecker. Mecker, Necker, anything but Pecker. All right, Susie Moore joins us next. Tom Shilleu at 10:25 on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk.
Hey, it's Tony Colombo with a great offer from the cleaning pros at Zero Res. So many of us are suffering from allergies right now. It's time to get your home clean and healthy, and Zero Res is here to help. Book a cleaning in April and mention the Colombo special, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129, plus you can take $50 off your air duct cleaning. Get the jump on spring cleaning now. Just mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton.
St. Louis is proud to be a baseball town and more recently a soccer town. On Friday, May 3rd, the Birds on the Bat host the Chicago White Sox. And that night, 25,000 fans 16 and older will take home a Cardinals soccer jersey presented by Purina. That's Friday, May 3rd, the Cardinals, the White Sox, and the exclusive soccer jersey giveaway. For tickets or more info, visit cardinals.com/promotion.
This is Giovanni Gallegos. Get your tickets at cardinals.com.
Calling all bobblehead collectors and animal lovers. This is one you won't want to miss. Join us at the ballpark on Saturday, May 4th, when the Cardinals host the Chicago White Sox and the 19th annual Purina Pooches in the ballpark. That day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will receive a bobblehead of Adam Wainwright with his lovable retirement gift, his new pup Louie, courtesy of Purina. For full details, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Adam Wainwright, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Former President Trump has returned to court in New York as his criminal trial continues. Going into court this morning in Manhattan, Mr. Trump said the case should be over. He complains of a politicized sham that he says is all about damaging his prospects for re-election. Anti-Israel protests that have roiled so many college campuses continue to spread. Those demonstrations are posing a fresh challenge for President Biden.
The president continues to resist calls to cut off U.S. support for Israel, which has angered liberal lawmakers and Arab Americans. The protests at Columbia University in New York and other campuses also raise questions about Mr. Biden's lagging support from young voters. The White House hopes the protests are a passing distraction, while some worry the protests could carry all the way to the Democratic National Convention in Chicago this summer. Greg Clugston, Washington.
TikTok racing for a legal challenge to a U.S. law. It would force the social media platform to break ties with its China-based parent company or face a ban in the U.S.
U.S. media had been reporting that TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, was exploring options to sell the app without the algorithm that powers it. In response, ByteDance said, foreign media reports of ByteDance selling TikTok are not true. This makes a ban of the short video app in the U.S. all but likely.
And that's the BBC's Hiranjaya Tiwari. It's estimated TikTok has close to 150 million users in the U.S. A closely watched inflation barometer rose more than expected year over year last month. The personal consumption expenditures index up 2.7% last month from 1 year ago. And on Wall Street, stocks are higher. The Dow up 121 points. The Nasdaq ahead 337 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Are you over 30 and putting off life insurance? It's time to get a quick quote from Ethos. A better, easier way to get term life insurance. All online with no medical exam. Answer a few health questions and you could be approved for up to $2 million. Isn't it worth 10 minutes to help protect your family's financial security? Ethos. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-3490. That's 800.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Periods of rain and thunderstorms today. A couple of stronger storms possible if the ingredients come together just right. Otherwise, lots of clouds, breezy with a high in the low to mid-70s. Slight chance of a storm overnight tonight as we drop to 66 for the low. And then tomorrow, lots of dry time Saturday. It's warmer, breezy, more humid. 30% chance of a storm, a high of 84. A better chance of some strong to severe thunderstorms Sunday evening into the overnight hours Sunday night. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Yeah, hour number 2 on a super duper bang bang Friday, thanks to Ken Williams. Just to add to all the exciting stuff that's happening, Steve, truck driver Steve, is on the phone. Steve, how are you, baby?
How are you, Vic?
I'm good.
I'm going to do this. I'll try to do this quick, so no horns. They're doing a fundraiser for my son's Air Force Junior ROTC.
Oh.
It's going to be today, tomorrow, and Sunday. The hours, I'll get that real quick. Today is 4 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
The hours tomorrow are 8 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sunday is 12 to 4.
Okay. And where is this?
You don't need to. This is at Lafayette High School. They'll be in the parking lot there. You don't need to bring money, but I'm sure money will be accepted. What they are accepting for this fundraisers are things you no longer want. Things that you want to take to savers, in other words. They'll take clothes, they'll take books, small appliances, anything around the house, basically, that's not damaged or anything like that. They'll take. Savers is giving them credit off of the weight of the things that are taken or brought in, donated. So this is all going to help for a trip for them going to Hawaii this year.
All right.
So
Air Force
anything
ROTC at Lafayette High School. 4 to 7 today, 8 to noon tomorrow, 12 to 4 on Sunday. Steve, thank you so much.
Correct.
We'll put this up on the
All
website
right,
somewhere.
All right, thanks a lot, buddy.
You got it.
Thanks, Steve.
Steve means business when he doesn't honk that
I
horn,
know, man.
right?
Yeah.
He didn't even want to honk the horn. All right, let's go.
Oh, Susie Q, baby, I love you. Susie Q.
I'm the boss. How about that?
I should have listened to Susie Moore from the beginning. Good morning, Susie Moore, Deputy Managing Editor at RedState.com. How are you on this Friday?
Good morning, Vic. Gabagool.
Gabagool to you. You know that's not the official Porcelli thing. That's just for you and me.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
And so we know it's real now.
Because I'm so stupid. Right. And we know it's real. And I'm stupid because my wife says, how is it secret if you say it on the radio? And I'm like, oh, you got a point there, Mrs.
Got a little bit of
Porcelli.
a point there.
Yeah, she does. All right. So much
Smart
legal.
woman, that Jessica.
Oh, she's what?
I said she's a smart woman, that Jessica.
Yes, she is. She is smart. How she ended up marrying me, I don't know, but it works out for me. So let's start with the trial, the trial that's ongoing right now with Donald Trump. By the way, in the chat box, Duke says, what if Pecker and Wiener were in the courtroom at the same time? That would be, right? That would be great. So
like crossing the stream.
No,
Susie Moore.
No crossing the streams.
A urinal joke.
Is I didn't even take it as that. I swear to God. I took it as a Ghostbusters thing, and you had to take it to the potty, didn't you?
Another level.
It's a multi-purpose reference.
Multi-purpose
right,
reference.
Right.
Okay. So has any of Peckerhead's testimony really damaged Donald Trump?
Well, there's a couple different ways to answer that.
Okay.
So one of the things that I try to let people know when they're following a jury trial closely, or any trial closely, is, the prosecution gets to go first. And when all you hear is that side of things, it can be easy to get kind of caught up in it and think, oh my gosh, they're like making all these points. I wasn't aware of this before. This sounds bad, that sort of thing. Until you hear the other side of things. And then you realize, oh, okay, you know what, there may be more to this than I realized. Maybe it's not quite so simple. So I would say that Pecker is doing what the prosecution needs as far as laying the foundation of how this arrangement all was set up. And their own underlying goal is to show that it was really all about protecting the Trump campaign. In other words, protecting his campaign and his efforts to become president, because they need that in order to make it actually a crime. Otherwise, it's just, kind of the regular business of being a celebrity and being in the public eye.
Right. So just a quick question, then we'll move on. Pecker and Trump were, he called Trump his mentor, right? They were friends, right? And now he's testifying against him. I know that sometimes expert witnesses get paid to get to testify. Do you think they paid him an unbelievable amount of money to testify, or was there a falling out between the two?
So you don't pay just regular witnesses. The reason that you pay expert witnesses is because they're being brought in to give their expertise.
Perfect.
This guy isn't being paid. Now, he was granted immunity because there was an issue with something that his company was doing as well. I mean, they got in trouble with the FEC. And so there is an immunity agreement there that could go to it. But yes, he maintains that he and Trump, he still thinks highly of Trump and considers him a friend.
Well,
odd way to be a friend, but that's okay. Were you going to say something?
I mean, you don't know, when you're called to testify, you don't get to say, no, I don't think so, because it's my friend.
Well, yeah.
That's a good point.
That is a good point.
That's why you're the lawyer, and I'm not.
And that's what I was going to ask, Susie. I'm no lawyer, and I just want to know, this how much of this is so damaging to Donald Trump. I mean, I've read it and I've listened to what he said, and it doesn't seem like it's anything out of the really out of the ordinary.
Well, that's been the knock on this case from the get-go, is that they're trying to make a big, a mountain out of a molehill because they really just want to get Trump. And you and I are talking from the court of public opinion. What's really going to end up mattering is whether, those 12 jurors that are sitting there listening to the case as it's presented ultimately determine, based on the instructions they're given, whether or not he actually violated the law. We just won't know until it's all said and done and they come in with their verdict. There's definitely the deck is definitely stacked against him in terms of, the jury pool and that sort of thing. But, it has to be a unanimous verdict. So it's hard to say. You never know what a jury's going to do till they come back and give you their verdict.
Yeah. So the best, Trump can hope for here, just because of the bias against Orange Man bad, is a hung jury, right? A mistrial, which isn't a acquittal. So if they were going to retry this, would that be before the election?
It could be. We're in late April. Realistically, the pace has kind of slowed down. It went pretty quick with jury selection, and now we've taken a whole week on the first witness. This case could last into mid to late May easily. And assuming they come back and they don't reach a verdict and it's a hung jury, when does it get rescheduled? Theoretically, it could be rescheduled before November. It's just hard to say.
Yeah, I understand.
They'd expedite the hell out of that one, though.
Boy, they sure would. So, a couple of things here. How do you think that Trump's lawyers are doing at cross-examining Peckerhead?
So far, I think that it's Emil Bove that is doing this cross-examination, and he seems to be drawing out some of the, he seems to be doing a pretty effective job. Even I'm kind of following the CNN blow by blow because they're pretty good with their updates, and he seems to be even they're acknowledging, kind of getting to the point that the arrangement and the practice that was going on here was actually not unique to Trump, their overall premise is, yeah, they were doing this, but this has nothing to do with a campaign violation, and therefore it's not illegal. You can frown upon it, but it's what's normally done, and it doesn't just involve Trump and a presidential candidate.
All right, final thing on this, and then we'll move on to another issue here. That the opening statement, closing arguments. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
I just want to know. I want you to know I'm not the only one that got that wrong. I can't tell you how many stories I've seen or heard people on TV say opening arguments. So I'm like, I feel a little better now. See, because you're the attorney.
You're definitely not alone in that. I even heard. I think it was Sean Hannity. I even heard say that. So.
Oh well, okay. All right. So on to another the immunity thing with the Supreme Court. This can set such a precedent, right? Because if they say he doesn't have immunity, right? I'm sure there are not just Supreme Court jurors, but regular judges, appellate judges who want to say, no, Trump is terrible, no. But then, watch out because Joe Biden's done some stuff, and that means that if he's not immune, then Biden's not immune either.
Yeah, whatever the court decides here isn't just going to be about Trump. It's going to be about the scope of immunity that's afforded to any president, and that will affect not only Trump, but some of his predecessors and anybody who follows behind him. So, and that was stressed, I think, a couple times yesterday during the oral argument, is that, this isn't just about Donald Trump. It's about the office of the presidency and how much leeway you give that sort of unique constitutional office in order to not interfere with the person who has to do that job, but also to hold them accountable if they do, genuinely break the law and need to be held accountable.
There was a conversation, shall we say, between John Sauer, the Missouri-based, by the way, attorney for Trump, and liberal Justice Ketanji Jackson Brown. Oh, wait. That's not right. I always do that wrong. It's Ketanji Brown Jackson. And we'd like you to hear some of that and then get your comments on the conversation between the two.
I'm worried that we would have a worse problem than the problem of the president feeling constrained to follow the law while he's in office.
I respectfully disagree with that because the regime you've described is the regime we've operated under for 234 years. There has not been an expectation based on 234 years of unbroken political.
All right, let me ask you another question that might occur. Yeah, so what is the argument that the president of the United States, who you say is bound by the law, is not on notice that he has to do his job consistent with the law? I mean, to the extent that the clear statement rule comes in at all, it's about the person not being on notice. So I guess I don't understand why Congress in every criminal statute would have to say, and the president is included. I thought that was the sort of background understanding that if they're enacting a generally applicable criminal statute, it applies to the president just like everyone else. So what is the clear statement that would have to be made in this context?
Under Franklin and under Public Citizen, Congress has to speak clearly before it interferes with the president's powers, and we have here an indictment that seeks to criminalize objective conduct that falls within the heartland of core executive authority.
Thank you.
So this, keep in mind, a woman who can't define a woman. What do you think about her comments and his comments?
So that excerpt actually was not her. She had a couple of what I consider bad moments yesterday, but that one actually was, I guess, a reasonable exchange between them. And, she's exploring the depths or probing the depths of what the petitioners, in this case Trump and his attorneys, are saying need to be the kind of the outer boundaries of this immunity. And she's basically saying, okay, if you're saying that in order for it to be something that his action makes it illegal, it has to specifically state in the statute that it applies to the president as opposed to that it just applies. That's not an unfair question on that issue. Overall, I thought that some of her questioning was kind of her concern that was clearly more on a president getting into office and being sort of like a bull in a china shop and running roughshod over the law versus a president getting in office and being completely hamstrung and not able to do anything because he or she is completely concerned the entire time that any step they make is going to get them sued or prosecuted. So I think Sauer did a really nice job of pointing out, look, we've operated under the reverse default of that for the past 230 plus years, and we've been okay. So in other words, quit looking about Donald Trump as this, the one and only standard around which we have to build everything else, and just look at this as the office of the presidency.
Yeah, I still think that Ketanji Brown Jackson has got to get Trump out of her head a little bit. I just think you can just tell it seems like she's just wanting to push a little bit to that direction, Susie. But why does it have to be so black and white? Why can't it be like, instead of him being able to murder everybody, let's make it, there are some boundaries that aren't so black and white. You know what I mean?
Well, I do, and I think that in general, the Supreme Court does a pretty decent job of kind of sussing out the nuances, if you will, and not trying to make everything black and white. This is a complicated issue. It's further complicated by the fact that people have such strong emotions about Donald Trump. And, that kind of was borne out when you saw the questioning or listened to the questions from the liberal justices versus the conservative justices yesterday.
Okay. I think John Sauer did a pretty good job yesterday.
Yeah, I did too. I think he had kind of a difficult task because they were kind of taking maybe a broader stance than they realistically think the court is going to agree with, but they kind of have to do that to represent Donald Trump. In this instance, they're basically asking for a very, very broad immunity. I don't think they're going to get that, but I thought Sauer did a decent job of defending that territory. I thought he did a better job than Dreeben did, for sure.
All right, so Harvey Weinstein gets his conviction overturned. This is why you're the lawyer and I'm not. This is why we call on you. When people hear, his conviction was overturned, that means he was acquitted. But that's not what it means?
No, that's not what it means at all.
Yeah.
What it means is that in this instance, as to the trial at question, the Court of Appeals in New York said, look, you didn't follow this procedure properly. You allowed these other witnesses to testify when the bad deeds that they testified about were not charged against Weinstein. So basically, you let other people come in and tell about bad things he did to them without charging him for those things. So that was just sort of kind of piling on, kind of oversimplifying. But and it wasn't proper under those circumstances to allow that testimony in. So the result of that is you got to go back to the drawing board and start the trial, retry him. It doesn't mean he's acquitted. It doesn't mean he gets out of jail. He's already in jail for other reasons too. It just means on that particular case, it's got to be retried again to be done properly.
So Gabe brought up a good point this morning because he was convicted for two different things, two different sentences, and Gabe asked, were those consecutive or concurrent?
I don't actually know the answer to that. I'd have to go back and look and see how the sentencing was done. I will tell you that I think that the net effect of this, as far as Harvey Weinstein ever getting out of jail, is nil.
Good.
I don't think that's going to end up making a difference. Where it really makes a difference, and I think Mike pointed this out this morning too, is the fact that, if they do retry him on this case, those witnesses are going to have to testify again.
And you don't think they will?
No, I'm sorry. The victims of that case are going to have to testify again, and that's going to be hard on them. The witnesses that the court said shouldn't have testified, no, they will not. They will not testify again.
And that is just, I don't know. I mean, Ashley Judd, she was one of the people, I guess, who testified against him. Mm-hmm. And, she's like, oh, this is terrible and everything else. And I don't know, you think somebody like her is strong enough to go back and do it again, testify again?
I mean, I think it depends on the person. I don't know off the top of my head if Judd is one of the people who was called on to testify that they said shouldn't have testified. So she may not have.
Oh, I see. Yeah. See, it's so confusing. Yeah. Being a lawyer is confusing.
Yeah, being a lawyer.
It is. It absolutely is.
All right. So we'll see. The Trump thing, is there any repercussions? I'm sorry to get back to Trump, but are there any repercussions for him that he wasn't able to campaign while this trial was going on? I mean, I don't know what there could be, but are there?
He's campaigning in New York
every day.
Well,
after the trial.
I was going to say, Donald Trump knows how to make the most of every millisecond in the limelight, and he is doing that well, even though he is constrained by being stuck in court in New York. He's speaking basically every day to the cameras. He may get slapped on the wrist for that if he's violation of the gag order here and there, but he's making the most of it. And if ever there's a person who doesn't actually need to be like out campaigning just from a getting people familiar with them standpoint, it's Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's hurting him, but not really that badly.
All right. Susie Moore, Deputy Managing Editor at RedState.com. Thank you so much for your legal expertise.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
You got it.
Thanks, Susie.
Hey, Ken.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we just, because Sandra wrote us a great email we'd like to get to, so we just got a letter.
We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Wonder who it's from?
It's from Sandra D. And she says, peckerhead was one of my dad's favorite terms. When we hunted mushrooms, there was a kind that he called that. There weren't morals, but I think they were edible. Ooh, those mushrooms, Ken.
Yeah.
But we didn't bother picking them because they were just peckerheads. And if you were an off the charts jerk, you were also a peckerhead. And if your name is Pecker, for God's sakes, you're a peckerhead.
Change your name.
Yeah, that's it. We just got a letter. Are we
I'm
done?
sorry, but for some reason, just saying that, it just gets me.
We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Wonder who it's from?
The great Tom Shilleu coming up next. And we'll see if we can talk him into sticking around for the wheel of audio clips. He is at the St. Charles Funny Bone all weekend long, and he's going to join us next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk.
Stream the Vic Porcelli Show at Newstalk STL. The Vic Porcelli Show.
A vital part of preparing for hurricane season is to get vaccinated now.
True international effort to pressure. If you try anything to raise the cost of protecting themselves, I will veto it.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's Newstalk STL.
Category 5 hurricane coming to the East Coast. Be sure you're vaccinated.
Right.
All right, listen. When long-term care kind of just disrupts your life, right? Just moves in and disrupts your life. It's an emotional time, and it's an expensive time as well. Cost of long-term care is very expensive in the St. Louis area. It could be $60,000, $70,000, even $100,000. So your savings cannot handle this added expense that you weren't counting on when you started saving money. Well, luckily, Chris Cooper from Serenity Wealth Management is a financial strategist, a long-term care specialist, and a CPA, and he can get you through all of this with tax-efficient strategies to fund care needs. So whether you're planning in advance, if you have health concerns, or if you're even living in a care community right now, solutions do exist to fund the quality of care that you deserve. He wrote a book. Chris wrote a book that he'd like you to read to get started. It's called The CPA's Guide to Tax-Free Strategies for Long-Term Care. Get it for free at SerenityLTC.com. That's SerenityLTC.com. Serenity now! It's Chris Cooper.
Investment advisory services offered through Alphi LLC, SEC registered investment advisor. Insurance and education services offered through Serenity Wealth Management.
Serenity now!
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? A man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $110 per month. Level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, there are great rates available for you as well. Call Term Busters for a quote. 1-800-908-7636. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-908-7636. Remember, call Term Busters. 1-800-908-7636. Sample rate for preferred non-tobacco rate class. Exam required to qualify.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
I'm Susie Moore, and this is More to the Point. They say the mind works in mysterious ways, and mine is no exception, particularly this past week as I've been dealing with the after effects of a mild concussion. Whatever the reasons for it, the recent news that Anthony Fauci is now set to testify before Congress in June, along with the Biden campaign's attempts to throw shade at former President Trump for things he didn't say about potential COVID therapeutics, and the fact that reported COVID cases have basically fallen off the map, got me to thinking about that quaint notion of herd immunity. Are we there yet? That, in turn, got me to thinking about another sort of immunity, namely that of the presidential variety, an issue argued before and heard by the Supreme Court on Thursday. I listened in on that and did my best to suss out where each of the justices seemed to be leaning on the issue and what my gut tells me they'll ultimately do with the decision. I do have a theory, though only a theory. But I also wonder if the American populace has developed sufficient immunity to the mind games the powers that be in our government and media seem intent on playing, such that we're still able to exert our will in a meaningful way at the ballot box. I do hope so.
Susie Moore is Deputy Managing Editor for RedState.com. For more to the point and everything Susie Moore, log on to RedState.com. Follow Susie on Twitter at SmoozyQ and keep listening to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
Hey y'all, this is Killer Bees, world famous comedian, part-time swimsuit model. You are listening to my brand new best friend in the world, Vic Porcelli.
Hey, tickety talkers. Look, here's the deal. Let's clear something up, all right? You misheard me. I didn't say my uncle was eaten by cannibals. I said my son was eating cannabis. He likes it. What are you going to do? Well, have our snacks, right? He likes cannabis. I like ice cream. All right? Orange man bad. Let's do some hand jive. Shoobop, shawada wadi, chickity boom da boom. Shang shang, changity chang shabba.
No. There you are again. Tom Shilleu joined us. How are you?
All right. Waking up here.
Listen.
I mean, I hear Joe. He starts to put me back to sleep.
Yeah, no kidding. And you had to know that a station like this, a conservative station, loves the Biden, making fun of Biden thing. How did that start?
You know what? It started out of desperation because Greg was making me do Adam Schiff almost every night.
Which was great.
People did love it. But I have to put on my wife's makeup to do Adam Schiff. I put the rouge on, He's got the kind of rosacea. So I need a little rosy cheeks. And then if I do a little eyeliner, because, Adam's got the eyes, And somehow if you put the eyeliner on, it accentuates his kind of like Joel Grey from Cabaret eyes,
Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah. So, but it's makeup. It's like, it's that extra work, and on the Gutfeld show, we throw the show together. We like to so it's rough and tumble. it changes on the fly. So Greg will email us in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon. He says, "Oh, we can't do that bit. We got to do this." No, it's not about racism. It's about the the Democratic Party, and then he'll send the email off, and we have to change our thing. So it's always on the fly. And then I'd put the makeup back on and do the Adam Schiff. So I was sick of Adam Schiff doing it, right? And sick of him, tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So I said, "Hey, I wouldn't mind taking a crack at Biden." And Greg said, "Oh, all right, yeah." So I did one, and my ace in the hole, my secret is I use filters on the phone. I don't have to do makeup with Joe Biden.
Oh,
I have a magic filter on the phone
Love
that makes.
that.
All it does is it ages me. It's the old age filter. Kids use these as a gag on Snapchat all the time. So I put the filter on. It whitens my hair, gives me some wrinkles. And then, and people say, "Do you do a face swap with Biden?" I say, "No, I just do the squint." So you got to kind of squint it up.
Look.
It's almost like I modeled it after the, I remember the Slee Stacks from the Land of the Lost. That's, kind of, it's like he has a lizard quality.
Is that where you go? Is that where you go?
Yeah. I try to, because he has, with Adam Schiff, it was more like a gecko, with the eyes, But the funny thing about it is I'm not an impressionist. And Greg knows that. I'm a comedian, so I like being funny, but I'm not a technical, excellent at the way that, there's certain people that who was the guy on SNL? There's certain that are excellent at, or like Frank Caliendo, the guy.
Oh my God,
down,
he was good. Holy
right?
cow!
And I'm not that way technically. I'm more like Dana Carvey. Dana Carvey wasn't exact, but he was funny.
He's not even close, but funny.
Yeah. It's like, it's not an impression, it's more of a caricature. So that's what I like to do. So with Adam Schiff, he said, "Can we do Adam Schiff?" And I said, "Yeah," but I didn't even study the voice because Adam Schiff has a boring voice.
Hell, he does.
It just drones on or whatever. So I decided to do it like this. He doesn't even talk like Vincent Price, but I thought he should, Because he kind of looks like he would talk like Bela Lugosi or something,
It's great because of the contrast of the eyes. Adam Schiff wide open, Joe really close.
Yeah.
Joe.
But Joe was, when I first did it, it was almost too extreme. But Joe has grown into my impression.
He has! The eyes are always closed now when Joe talks.
Yeah. So some people, they say, they'll say on Twitter, "Is Joe doing you, Tom?" I thought... I think he is at this point.
I think he is. So you don't do it every time, but a lot of times you always start with, no.
Yeah. That's just, for me, that's how to get into the voice.
Yeah.
So there's certain tells, like with Adam Schiff, it's, ooh.
Yeah.
I do the ooh. Even though Adam doesn't do ooh, it's just a way of getting my eyes up. Ooh, yes. Impeachment. And he says the word. So when I'm warming up and shooting these on my phone, I would actually, to get into the Joe voice, because he has a very high voice. A lot of people, when they do Joe, it's kind of like, they do the Joe with the big, but really he starts up here and he goes down like that.
He does.
No, look,
Right.
here's the deal.
There it
So it's
is,
like,
Ken.
yeah, so it's like going from high to low, and he does that a lot, where he's like, "Oh, is the orange man bad?" And I'll tell you what we're going to do about it. You know what I mean? And then he goes, and it's a lot about the thinking too, where so I, sometimes if I go up on a line, like I have an idea and I'm going up on my lines. I almost think I did it in the clip that you showed there. I say, well, I'll just leave it in because that's the way Joe's always thinking about what, his next, he's wait a minute, I had it away. He'll try to sound official.
What he does.
He'll start trying. I want to address the LGBT. Hold on. I got a rhyme to help this out. LGBTQA plus. We used to call them gays, but then they made a fuss. Okay, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So funny.
I gotta say something about that real quick, because you said that Joe Biden could be stealing your material. He is a serial plagiarist, right?
Yes.
So he's probably taking your stuff anyway.
He may be inspired. Look, he has to get a laugh every once in a while, right?
Right.
And then, but it's funny because his laugh lines are never where he thinks they are. He'll say something absurd. He says, no joke.
Right.
It's a true story.
Not a joke. We didn't think it was, Joe.
Yeah, my uncle was eaten by cannibals. No joke. He's in Papua New Guinea telling the Papua New Guineans that they ate his
that they're
uncle.
cannibals. Yeah.
Yeah. Good thing that's not in a voting district.
Couple of things here. You said that you just throw the show together, and Biden just throws together his presidency. He doesn't really plan or anything. So that's why the whole Biden thing is so great.
Yeah.
And you also said about getting into a voice. George Carlin, everybody's favorite, right?
Yeah.
He did the Ed Sullivan Show is one of the cuts on FM and AM. And he says when he does his Ed Sullivan, he's got to get into it with the phrase, well, now you know. He goes, well, now you know, right here on our show.
Yes, yeah.
You know? And I have to, when I do my Rodney Dangerfield, I have to say, tough crowd.
Yeah.
You got to
It's
say
the hook.
that. Right, it's the hook, right?
And it gets you into the physicality. Well, the guy who used to do Reagan, everyone is, well.
Yes.
Well,
absolutely.
And
Every time.
She makes you shake your head. Well, the Sandinistas, well. So.
I don't recall.
Yeah, it's just, it's a way we can kind of trick ourselves into getting into character.
I love it. All right, Greg Gutfeld Show. My wife and I watch it every night, and this week has been interesting up till last night because everybody was filling in, hosting for Greg.
Yeah.
I thought you did a great job the other night.
Thank you.
And when Joe Mackey did the show, my wife and I love Joe Mackey, I swear to God. Does everybody really love him? Because when he tells a joke when he's on the panel, they go crazy for him.
Vic, why wouldn't you love me, Vic?
Oh my God!
I mean,
Joe Mackey.
Look here, Tom. I play St. Louis. They're nice out there. Come on. But I don't like flying. You get stuck in your seat.
We saw him at the old Funny Bone. Well, the long-standing Funny Bone. My wife and I, darkest comedy show I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
I've seen a lot.
I love seeing him. People see him on the show and they're like, there's something about that guy. He's funny, but then when you go to see him live, get ready because I've seen him now back in the old days when we were just starting out together. I would always love, after I did my set, I would get in the back of the room and I would watch Joe get up on stage and okay, everybody. Anyway, good to be here. And they're like, oh no, open mic night. They thought he was so unprepared. He looked like he had no confidence, whatever. Boom, first joke. Whoa, this guy's funny. Second joke, third joke. By 10 minutes in, he's tearing the place apart. Mm-hmm. And so people never know what hit them when they go to a
That's true. And when he was on Last Comic Standing, his very first joke was a pizza delivery 9/11 joke, which was so dark for television.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Yeah.
All right. Tom, I can't tell you how thrilled we are to have you here. One quick thing I'd like you to ask Greg for me, okay?
Yeah.
Because every night there's a little promo, we call it a promo in the biz, about coming. Do you want to come and see the Greg Gutfeld Show live in New York? And they show a quick shot of Greg, doing the show. And he's got a suit and a tie on. And he looks real good. And then they come back to the show and he looks like a lumberjack. Can you ask him to dress a little better?
One of his sweaters. How do you like those sweaters? They're very interesting, right?
They're stupid. Yeah, they're great, but they're stupid.
But I don't know when he put the suit on. Maybe it was during sweeps week or something, and he had to impress the bosses. But
you asked me when I asked Jeff Lear, was his hair black?
Yeah, you got to look at the color. Sometimes they put come see Greg Gutfeld live, and then they show a picture with the black hair, and I'm like, well, that's several shades ago.
Several shades. Hey, we've all had some shade changes in our lives. Right? Hey, I got to ask you a big favor. Can we do every Friday, we close up the show with something we call the Wheel of Audio Clips? Can you stick around for that?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Which is the audio that we play all week. Ken puts together a great show for us every week.
Oh, yeah.
And we take them on, we put them on the wheel. It's stupid, but do you mind sticking around?
I love it.
Tom Shilleu at the St. Charles Funny Bone. Starting tonight. Here we go. Tonight, 7 to 9. See how good he is? See what he does for me? Wow. Tonight, 7 to 9 o'clock. Saturday, 6 and 8 o'clock. Okay, so tonight, 7 to 9. Tomorrow, 6 to 8. StLouisFunnyBone.com. Tom Shilleu there all weekend long. He makes it so easy. All right, the Wheel of Audio Clips up next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk.
Follow us on Rumble at News Talk STL. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
We as we evolve our institutions and drive creative new partnerships, let me be clear. Certain principles of our international system are sacrosanct.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Are we there? Oh, we are there. Sorry. Okay, listen, so more storms may be coming today if it does anything to your roof. Dog ate my homework, literally. If the storm has knocked any shingles off the roof, don't go with Goober, okay? Goober's going to screw you, guaranteed. Go with Kathy and Rob Connor. Connor Roofing for 30-plus years has specialized in residential roofing and repair, and they'll give you an honest estimate. Because here's what may happen. They may come to your house, go up on the roof, and say, you know what, it's good. your roof withstood the storm and you're good. No work needed. That could happen. Goober's going to say, no, I think you need a whole new roof. Quality work, great customer service, of course, after the sale. Emergency storm repair is exactly what we're talking about. So go with Connor Roofing and only Connor Roofing, and call them before the insurance company, by the way. It'll work out better for you. ConnorRoofing.com, CONNER roofing.com.
Katie.
A new poll shows who Americans hold responsible for the crisis at the border. We'll discuss this on Friday with Gabe Pfeiffer and Ken Williams, and get the weekend weather forecast with Steve Templeton.
Weekdays at 2 on NewstalkSTL.
Tony Colombo here, reminding you to visit my friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton before your next trip into the great outdoors. For decades, Bluff City Outdoors has covered all the needs for area fishermen, and they'll always have all the best bait, tackle, and gear for your next trip on the water. And now they cover all your bow hunting needs, including their state-of-the-art indoor archery range and techno hunt system, open every day for you to come shoot, or you can join a league. Follow Bluff City Outdoors on Facebook and learn more at bluffcityoutdoors.com.
Fox News commentary.
USC caved to anti-Israel thugs and canceled the school's main stage graduation ceremony. This is why we can't have nice things. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Something amazing is happening in education. Students are inspired and engaged. That's because school districts consulted with CDW, who designed modern classroom solutions with pre-configured HP devices, making learning more accessible, secure, and immersive. Now, when students study topics like elephants, it feels like elephants are there with them. HP and CDW make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/HPPSG.
First it was remote learning at Columbia, and now USC in Southern California has caved to anti-Israel campus thugs with the cancellation of the school's main stage commencement ceremony. The planned May 10th ceremony was nixed due to new safety measures. The university has promised to hold other alternative, smaller commencement celebrations, but they will be nothing like the main stage event, which welcomed roughly 65,000 attendants in past years. This is a cowardly move by USC. Instead of putting a swift end to this campus intimidation by pro-Palestinian and openly anti-Semitic agitators, the university essentially rubber-stamped and validated their behavior. If you're a high school student, now might be the time to look into trade or vocational options, given that even the nation's top institutions can't seem to keep their students safe. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show Tommy Lahren is Fearless at Outkick.com.
The Wheel of Audio Clips, brought to you by Senior Memorial. Give Benjamin Schaefer a call at 314-866-8886 or visit memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
You're funny. Well, I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you, I make you laugh. What do you mean funny?
On NewstalkSTL.
All right, welcome to it. Our guest is Tom Shilleu. He'll be at the St. Charles Funny Bone. Can't thank you enough for coming in today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Because I knew it was going to be different. I knew it was going to be great. Nothing against Jamie Lissau or Joe DeVito, who have come and visited us.
I'll tell him.
Jamie made me laugh so hard because I cannot even fathom where it's dark 6 months at a time where he lives in Alaska.
Yeah.
And I said, dark 6 months at a time? I said, I'd put a knife in my eye. That quickly, he goes, yeah, but you can't find it. You can't find the knife because it's dark. He's so quick, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, he's great.
Love him. All right. Ken, I think it's time to do a guest-filled Wheel of Audio.
Wheel of Audio Clips!
It's America's favorite game show, The Wheel of Audio Clips. Here's the host of Wheel of Audio Clips, Vic Porcelli.
Thank you, Jim Bodger, very much. Studio audience, how you doing, ladies? Yeah, you doing? Wheel of Audio Clips with our special guest, Tom Shilleu, today. What we do is we take all the clips that we play during the week. Ken puts them on this great big wheel. We spin the wheel. Wherever it stops is where it is what we play.
It's a beautiful wheel.
It would be great and coincidental if we had a bunch of Biden to play today with Tom Shilleu in the house.
Great.
Right? Let's spin the wheel and see if we can get one. Not that I'm looking to fix the game or anything, Ken, but I'd like to, you got the wheel? There it is. What are you doing to me? Why are you doing this? Not only does he boss me around and constantly up my ass, he also teases me a lot. And oh my goodness, it landed
What a
on
surprise.
Joe Biden. He finally said it out loud.
In a sense, I don't know why we're surprised by Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted?
Tom?
We can't be. Did he say we?
Yes.
How many times did we can't be trusted?
Yeah.
I mean, did he follow it with not a joke? True story.
I don't think
How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted?
And then the audience laughed at that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they were laughing. I don't know if they thought it was a joke.
Nervous laughter,
Yeah,
maybe?
it's nervous laughter.
Nervous
That's what you get a
laughter.
lot. If he had Kamala there, she'd be.
Yeah, right. And they've done that. When he's like at a thing at the White House, he'll say something completely stupid, and the whole crowd laughs like Tom Shilleu's on stage. You know? All right, let's do another one. Kenny, spin that wheel. It would be crazy coincidence if it landed on Biden today. Don't you think it would be a crazy coincidence? Crazy. Because that never happens. I'll be damned. It lands on Joe Biden again.
I've never thought I'd see a time when I'm
Wait, stop.
going through.
Is that Joe Biden or is that Tom Shilleu?
I don't know.
Go back to the beginning. Let's hear that again.
He said,
No.
look at his face.
Listen.
I've never thought I'd see a time when I'm going through a neighborhood or a rural town in the West or something and see big signs that have a Trump sign in the middle that says F. Biden, and having a little kid standing with his middle finger, 7 years old, 8 years old. Well, I promise it happens all the time.
Well, what did you get out of that story? I guess kids hate Biden.
That's it.
Is that what he wants us to know?
It's his fault, too.
Another generation of Biden haters is all it is.
I didn't know what he was saying until the end of the story. I could figure out when he said the little kid was giving him the finger, but at the beginning he was kind of, psilocybin. I said, what's he talking about? I mean, he's just mumbling through his presidency, and he wants 4 more years.
Yeah.
He tried to say it the other day. Did you see? He said, "Okay, wait a minute, everyone. 4 more years. Pause. He said pause because he's always reading the teleprompter. You know, stop talking.
The other day, 2 things about this appearance he did with AOC. I don't know if you saw those 2 lovebirds holding hands at this one event near Queens, New York.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to say about it is he was asked a question, and he put his hands up, but he only got them up up to his waist, like he looked like a Hall of Presidents at Walt Disney World.
He does. He does have an animatronic quality to him lately.
It's the exact word I used, animatronic, exactly.
And Dr. Drew has a theory about that. I don't know if I don't know if he's ever said it on the air, but I mean, he was telling me that's a sign. That's not a good sign when when the body is stiffening up like that. You know, he thinks it's more serious than just old age stiffness. He thinks it's something worse.
So during that event, he said, back in the 70s, Delaware had the highest rate of cancer in the whole country. I said to my wife, I'll bet that's not true. And she looked at my wife's a crazy researcher.
Yeah.
She looked it up, not even close.
No, it doesn't take 5 seconds to check on Joe Biden because he'll make stuff up all the time like that just to get himself through a speech. Did you see him the other day when he said the women of America? He tried to say don't mess with the women of America. And I said it before. He couldn't get the W. He was like that. Remember the Sesame Street?
Yeah. That's my wife's ringtone.
He needed the backup singer.
That's my wife's ringtone on her phone. Mana.
So one more thing about that, though, when he was talking about where he was paused. He said pause. But I think it was staged on the audience as well because they were ready for him to say 4 more years. And he goes, 4 more years. And he didn't really know what he was saying. He goes, pause. And if you look at his face, he's like going, pause.
Yeah.
And then people in the audience go, 4 more years.
Yeah.
4 more. And he goes, oh, yeah. Okay.
What a stupid setup.
It was all
He must have had a producer, in the audience there, like they do at the Gutfeld show sometimes. Let's face it. We have Gene cueing the audience for the applause sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it happened at game shows in 1950. Can you play him turbocharged? Can you find turbocharged real quick?
Oh, yeah.
So this is where he found a word or a phrase that was easy, turbocharge, and everything else just went to hell. Okay.
Turbocharge turbocharge the emerging global clean energy economy.
Can you do that?
Turbocharge Need to come on. Hold on a second. Let me get back. I like how he goes back to the word. The one word I can say, turbocharged. I practiced this.
Exactly, Tom.
Turbocharged. Jill told me to say that word. Turbocharged.
So funny. You know what, Ken? That's all I want to do. Can we stop right there?
Oh, yeah, if you
and
want.
then let's close out. That's all the time we have for the wheel of audio clips. This is Vic Porcelli saying, help control the liberal population. Have your liberals spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody. That's what we do every Friday, Tom. It's our way to,
kind of wrap up the week,
Yeah.
So Tom Shilleu here with us. I was so excited to have him in, and he's going to be at the St. Charles Funny Bone tonight for 2 shows, 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock, Saturday, 6 and 8. Saturday is tomorrow. Get your tickets at stlouisfunnybone.com or right at the box office. And I want you to know, in our chat box, Ron, somebody said, got my tickets for Tom Shilleu.
Yeah.
All ready to go.
I like doing those early shows. Sometimes, I've been doing 4 o'clock shows.
Wow.
Because, listen, it's the Fox News audience. They appreciate it.
Early bird show.
Yeah. They do the show, and then they have dinner, and then they go home, But with these shows, this is a little more traditional because we're in a good area. The St. Charles Club, that little mall there is great. People can come. They can go out afterwards. There's a lot of cities where people go into this. They don't want to be in the city after dark.
Yeah.
So I'll do a 4 o'clock show in Boston or Houston. They come. Then they might have dinner, or they might just hightail it back to the suburbs.
Well, if it's winter, it's 4:30. It's dark already, so they want to get the hell out of the city.
Yeah,
but maybe in the summer they'll stick around for dinner. That streets of St. Charles is just a beautiful, beautiful part of town.
Yeah, so you can spend your whole time there. You can spend the whole weekend there, and I did. Last time I came, I stayed in the condo there, and then I went to yoga class at Yoga 6. It's just the way you stay.
You're a yoga guy?
Oh, I like hot yoga.
Come
you know
on.
who else does hot yoga?
Who?
Joe DeVito.
Does he?
Yeah. He's good. He's better than me.
He didn't tell us that when he was here, Joe DeVito.
No. Did you ever do goat yoga?
Never did the goat yoga.
I want to try that.
Yeah. Listen, I hang out with goats. I just don't mix it with my yoga.
Oh, okay.
They're
2 separate parties. One's a little wilder party than the other. So your show is not necessarily a traditional stand-up show. It's more of like a one-man kind of a show with a bunch of funny stuff in it.
Yes, I wrote it for a theater. I wrote it for the United Solo Festival, and I came up with the idea of the show. Like a lot of great comedy shows, this was inspired by death.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Well, listen, my dad passed away in 2019, my mom in 2022. Oh, wow. And after my mom passed away, we were out at her house. They spent their golden years out in Arizona. Both from Boston, total northeastern people. They got sick of the snow. They moved out to Arizona. So their wonderful little house in Arizona was now empty. And we all went out after the funeral, and the siblings got together, and we had to go through all their stuff. So this show came from finding what I call a treasure trove of poetry and prose of my dad's and my mother's artwork.
Awesome.
She was an artist, a visual artist. My dad was a secret poet and author. He has filing cabinets full of writing. So I pulled it out. I went through everything, and I created this show that is full of surprises. So I tell stories about my life, some of them very funny, and then some of them a little more touching. So there's some. It's everything you want in a theater show.
And it's so unique that it's something you've never seen before. And I think that's even if it wasn't you, it would be a great reason to get out there because it's a different kind of comedy show.
Yeah, and I think people they come up after the show. They have people who were born in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. It all resonates with them because I was born in 66 and I grew up in Massachusetts in the early 70s. And my old-fashioned Catholic upbringing, it's very universal. And then the other universal part of it is so many people, after their parents have passed or even when they've just gotten older, they start going through the old stuff and they find out secrets. Because these parents, that generation didn't talk about their lives.
I know.
They didn't talk about some of the sadness that happened, some of the tragedies.
The war.
They kept it to themselves. Yeah. But you find out about that. You go through their stuff, you find out secret stuff. So I reveal one secret about my mom and one secret about my dad.
That's great. My dad, World War II, part of the Normandy invasion.
Yeah.
Never talked about it.
Unbelievable.
But he had a sword and a German Luger that he brought home. And listen to this. He cut down and kept a Nazi flag.
Yeah.
And at the time, back in the 40s, they'd bring it, from New Jersey. We're from New Jersey. They'd bring it down the shore and use it as a beach blanket.
That's the best.
And people didn't say, oh, they're Nazis.
No.
Oh, my God, he's a soldier. He's a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they knew what it was about.
Secrets
That's
are
amazing,
secrets,
though.
but they don't like to talk about it. You're right, Tom, because I can only imagine the things that they saw.
Yeah. And you see the opening of Saving Private Ryan, that unbelievable
Can't
scene
do
of the
it.
storming the beach. You look at that, you think, they went through that?
They did.
They actually did. And then they didn't talk about it.
Some of them didn't even make it off the little water
Yeah.
boat that they were in. They got in and they were dead. I can't watch that more than once. That's it. Done. Tom Shilleu, how big is Tyrus actually?
He is 6'7". And I mean, I think if you look up his weight on, his old fighting weight, he's slimmed down a bit. He's in better shape. You get older, he's got the knees, so he's looking pretty good lately if you see him. And you probably see he's got everybody. Greg's waking up early. He's very healthy lately.
He looks.
And,
I saw an old clip. I was looking for your Biden things.
Yeah.
And in some of the older clips, Greg's face is fatter than it is now. So
Yeah.
He looks
Sometimes he'll show an old clip, and then they'll come back, and he'll say, "I hope I look better than that."
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Yeah. So great. So Tyrus and two quick questions. Tyrus and Greg, they got to be great friends, right? The way they rib each other all the time.
I always say to people, they always want to know about the personalities. And I say, what you see is what you get. You can't fake it in cable news because they're on so much. Like yourself. I mean, you're on the air all this time. People get to know you, and you can't fake it.
No.
So Greg is exactly what you think. He is sometimes so funny, sometimes so cranky.
Right.
And he'll let you know, though.
Yeah.
He's always honest with you wherever he is. And he's always poking fun of people. Greg has a great belief in teasing people. And that has made it in. Have you noticed on some of the other Fox shows, they're teasing each other as well because they've picked up on the Greg vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Jesse
he
does
teases
it all the
Kilmeade.
time.
Now Kilmeade's going to send it back to him. Jesse never used to do that teasing. So Greg has had a real effect on it. How about Dana?
Yeah,
She's not
yeah.
naturally that way, but she'll roast you.
Yeah. And with Kilmeade, they always say something and they put Kilmeade's face up there. But when Kilmeade's on the panel, his smile is so big when Greg's making fun of him because they got to be great friends. Got to be able to do that on TV.
Yeah, and Greg he always says, if I don't tease you, we're not on good terms.
Don Rickles.
Huh? Yeah.
If Don Rickles didn't make fun of you, he didn't like it.
Yeah. So he says, don't think I'm not teasing the people I don't like.
Right. And that's here too, actually. Jeff said that about here when they make fun of me. So they must like me, I guess.
That's it.
Yeah, I keep trying to tell you that.
Tom, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tom Shilleu, St. Charles Funny Bone. Tonight, tomorrow, get tickets, stlouisfunnybone.com. It's been a pleasure to see you. I'm sure he's got some things he's going to ask you to do if you don't mind. If
Oh, yeah.
down here.
I mean, if it's legal, I'll do it.
No, nobody
May
said
not
it.
be legal.
Nobody said it was legal.
Okay.
Yeah. All right,
We'll
we got to go. Thanks so much for having the record player on at night to listen to us this morning.
Make sure you have the record player on at night.
We elected that guy. 81 million votes. Forget it. We'll see you Monday on News Talk STL.
Someday I'll be able to forget my working days. Life will be grim because the ship is coming in. Everything will go my way and I won't have to say, here come the weekend. Here come the weekend. Here come the weekend. My working week's so tough, I think I've had enough until the weekend. Here come the weekend. Here come the weekend. Here come the weekend.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Speaking with Jim Talent, former U.S. Senator and chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council.
We have 200 American kids die every day from fentanyl poisoning.
A lot of these kids take a pill and they don't know that it has fentanyl, or they don't know it has as much fentanyl, and they accidentally overdose and die. And this is largely the result of the border being uncontrolled.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. On the battlefront in Ukraine, Kyiv security officials assessing how they can recover lost battlefield momentum in the war. Russia, despite sustaining high losses, has been taking control of small settlements as part of its effort to drive deeper into eastern Ukraine. From the Pentagon, in virtual remarks to the Ukraine Defense Contact Group, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says Ukraine needs more help against Russian aerial attacks.
We're going to have a special focus today on boosting Ukraine's air defenses. Ukraine is in dire need of more air defense systems, and it urgently needs more interceptors. That's going to be a huge priority for us all today.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. Also at townhall.com, violence along the Israel-Lebanon border.
Lebanon's militant Hezbollah group says its fighters fired anti-tank missiles and artillery shells at an Israeli military convoy in a disputed area along the border, killing an Israeli civilian. Hezbollah adds its fighters ambushed the convoy shortly before midnight on Thursday, destroying 2 vehicles. The Israeli military has commented the ambush wounded an Israeli citizen doing infrastructure work. He'd later died of his wounds. Low-intensity fighting along the Israel-Lebanon border has repeatedly threatened to boil over as Israel has targeted senior Hezbollah militants in recent months. Tens of thousands of people have been displaced on both sides of the border. I'm Charles Philadelphia.
In a Manhattan courtroom, the Trump criminal trial will wrap up this week's proceedings today. The former president has pleaded not guilty to the 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. Alphabet and Microsoft are leading the U.S. stock market toward its first winning week in the last 4. The Dow had 141 points, the NASDAQ adding 306. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Biden has started tracking Christians like cattle. Yes, you heard it right. He pressured banks to tag transactions for certain keywords. One of them is Holy Bible. That's a horrifying and creepy attack on our religious freedoms. It's made possible by a digital financial system that makes you a sitting duck. But you do have other options. I recommend a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst, a best-selling author, and evangelical leader to people who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Biden's anti-Christian bureaucracy while also preserving your retirement savings. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text faith to 989898. There are no strings attached. So text faith to the number 989898 right now and take action to protect your own prosperity.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Periods of rain and thunderstorms today. A couple of stronger storms possible if the ingredients come together just right. Otherwise, lots of clouds, breezy with a high in the low to mid 70s. Slight chance of a storm overnight tonight as we drop to 66 for the low. And then tomorrow, lots of dry time Saturday. It's warmer, breezy, more humid. 30% chance of a storm, a high of 84. A better chance of some strong to severe thunderstorms Sunday evening into the overnight hours Sunday night. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Senior Memorial. Give Benjamin Schaefer a call at 314-866-8886 or visit memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection.
Dreaming of upgrading your outdoor space? STL FenceWorks is the choice for you. Our skilled craftsmen build custom fences from modern vinyl to classic ornamental, fitting your style and budget. Elevate your outdoor living with low-maintenance decks designed to relax and entertain. We choose only top-quality American-made materials, ensuring your project is built to last. Your satisfaction is our passion. With over 50 years of experience, custom designs, and exceptional customer service, visit STLFenceWorks.com today.
Man, what a great party you're throwing here. This wasp nest is great.
Yeah, man, we got about 70 wasps in here.
Too bad we can't fit any more wasps in here. It looks like they're having fun outside, stinging all the kids. Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Honesty, integrity, humility, purpose. We're looking for people that share these values. As an officer in the Springfield, Missouri Police Department, you'll train in a state-of-the-art facility, learn special skills, and most importantly, learn that being humble through it all builds a better community. Our next training academy starts soon. Work hard and dedicate yourself to the craft, and I promise you'll have some amazing opportunities. Visit gospd.com for more information. That's gospd.com. Brought to you by the Springfield, Missouri Police Department.
To all our incredible supporters, we at the David Dorn Foundation say thank you. Your 5-star online reviews that you recently posted are beacons of encouragement on our mission to assist first responders. And a shout out to Steve Katraba, who reviewed us with these powerful words. The Dorn Foundation continues to fill a need in the public safety community and thereby to the public. Steve, your words are more than a review. They show the impact we're making for first responders. To read more strong reviews, Google the Dorn Foundation now.
Conservative talk for St. Louis.
It's your patriotic right and duty. The government needs to step up and do its job.
This is News Talk STL.
It's well-balanced conversation.
News, analysis, opinion. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
From the NYPD to the Secret Service to behind the microphone, taking the fight to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Filling in for Dan, Jim Verdi, and Evita Duffy Alfonso.
Good morning or afternoon, as it were. Producer Jim filling in today with a guest co-host. Before I get to Evita, just one quick thing, some breaking news in the Trump trial. Not going really well for Alvin Bragg right now. Their key witness that they're bringing up there, besides the liar Michael Cohen, this David Pecker, they were just questioning the defense on the stand, and we were asking about the McDougal story that was supposedly buried, that Trump had asked to be buried. Well, apparently in testimony, Mr. Pecker says, oh, no, he didn't request that at all. As a matter of fact, she came to me. So the trial not going really well for Alvin Bragg, which is just such a darn shame. Before we get started here, though, let me introduce you to the newest member of the Bongino crew. You probably are familiar from Fox TV with Rachel Campos Duffy and Sean Duffy. Their daughter, Evita Duffy Alfonso, is the newest member of the Bongino team. You can read her stuff at Bongino.com, and she's going to be co-hosting and filling in with me from time to time as well. Evita, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
So just to familiarize yourself with the audience, a lot of people who don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got here.
Yeah, I didn't know I wanted to do journalism growing up. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I kind of got thrown into it when I was in college. I went to the University of Chicago, and I got canceled by everyone at my university, a very left-wing university, for opposing socialism, and that's a whole long story of its own. But because I got canceled, I was sort of inspired to start a college newspaper on my campus. We called it the Chicago Thinker. We did a ton of reporting during the so-called COVID crisis. And then I went on to work for the Federalist, where I was a staff writer. I did a lot of BLM reporting. I was on the ground in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I did a lot of Blue City crime reporting in Milwaukee and then in Chicago. So I've done a lot. And I'm really excited to be joining Dan Bongino and writing for Bongino.com. And of course, every once in a while, filling in on the radio show.
Well, one of the things that Dan always says is you can't just talk, you have to do. And obviously you're doing, and not only doing, but you're going into like the bluest of blue places and putting your feet on the ground. That's really admirable. You're doing the job that needs to be done. Well, we're glad you're here. So let's get started with today's content. What we want to talk about today, we're going to start with Dan. Dan did do a podcast today. And one of the things he talked about on the podcast was about union support, possibly, most likely shifting towards Donald Trump. We're going to listen to a snippet of what Dan did on the podcast today, and then we'll come back and talk about that a little bit.
Get their fingers and their fingernails dirty. Folks, the economy sucks and everyone knows it. I want you to watch this Fox segment yesterday. Nobody knows this better than people who get their fingers and their fingernails dirty for a living because they work. This country was built by people doing manual labor. They built it. Their hands built it. Their know-how built it. No one knows this better than union workers. Fox did an interview yesterday with after Donald Trump left this union rally with a head of one of these union shops. I never heard this about a Republican before. I should have, because we've always been the party of the working man. But I'll be straight with you. I haven't heard this before. Hopefully we'll hear more of this. Check this out.
It was great to see the president come and engaging with the blue-collar worker of New York City. We basically built New York. The union movement has made the middle class. And we are very patriotic union, and we are pro-America. So my members right now, I put out a poll in my union. President Trump is leading Joe Biden 3-1 on my presidential poll out of my 9,000 members right now. We are very tired of the situation with groceries, inflation, gas prices, illegal immigration, crime. We're living it every day in New York City.
Folks, don't take a leak on my leg and tell me, look, it's a thunderstorm. You think these guys are stupid? They're paying, $22 for a freaking egg sandwich in the local deli and a Yoo-hoo. You think they're dumb? They were paying what? 12? 12. It's New York City. You're probably lucky to get away with 12. These guys are getting screwed. They were parking their cars in the city for probably $40 a day. It's probably $140 now. You think they're dumb? These contractors are dealing with, hey, I got to go pour some concrete. Yeah, that's going to be, $47,000 for a little thing of concrete. It was 40 last week. Yeah, prices. You think they're stupid? These people know exactly what's going on. And what do I always tell you about campaigns, folks? Snapshots and sound bites. Snapshots and sound bites. Quick sound bites and snapshots and pictures are going to change the entire course of this campaign. Here is a devastating sound bite. A lot of people laughed at this yesterday. This was a bigger deal than you think. They're doing an interview with another union guy who walks out. They say, you have a message for Joe Biden? He had an interesting message. Close the kids' ears, though. You don't want to hear this. Check this out.
What's it like seeing so many Republicans in Manhattan, so many Trump supporters in Manhattan? Does that surprise you?
No, not at all. It's turning now. Trump's turn again.
What's your message to Joe Biden?
You.
A lot of anger out there. These are the people who work for a living. They have free speech, too, and say whatever they want. Joe Biden was very upset about that, by the way. He doesn't like that.
No, Joe doesn't like that, as a matter of fact. Now, I grew up in Brooklyn. I have friends still there. One of them, a major union electrician, my best friend since I'm 6 years old, Anthony. And Anthony is definitely a Trump guy. He's a Local 3 guy. Just like Dan's brother. Dan's brother is in Local 3. So my best friend's brother is Dan's brother. It's really weird. But anyway, this is what you're seeing on the ground in New York. And Evita, where you're from, that's heavily unionized in that area. Are you, from people that you know, as far as people that work for a living and in unions, are you seeing much the same?
Well, it's interesting. This is about union workers, but I think the sentiment is being, seen across all of working class America in general. So I did a lot of reporting in Chicago, in Hyde Park, where I lived, and the people there are now their area is now housing like massive swaths of illegal migrants the resources that were once going to the predominantly black community in that area are now being allocated to the illegals. And they're furious about it. And they're turning away from Democrats in droves. And so the issues that they were bringing up, the union leader, and then of course the regular guys that were being interviewed, low gas prices. We want low gas prices, a resolution to our illegal immigration crisis, a crackdown on crime, grocery bills. I mean, these are things that crime in the city, right? Crime in these big blue cities. These are things that are at the top vote list for everybody in America, for every normal American in America. And I thought it was just a wonderful representation of what people are feeling. And I think juxtaposing that with what Democrats are talking about right now, I think you're seeing that Republicans really have the right mindset. People are turning away from Democrats because what are they talking about? Abortion on demand at all times. I don't know if you saw this, Jim, but there was an ad by that Gavin Newsom put out in Alabama where he was essentially trying to say women are being pulled over and forced to take pregnancy tests and thrown in jail. I mean, this is what Democrats are running on right now. Meanwhile, the rest of America is struggling and has real problems. And by the way, that ad was a flat out lie. So they're running on lies. Meanwhile, regular Americans are suffering. And this, I think, was a great example of the sentiment felt by so many in our country.
Yeah, that's what they kind of do. They lie all the time. I mean, you're familiar with your Wisconsin background with Paul Ryan. Back in the day when Paul was, before his pre-Rhino days, when Paul was running for Congress, or was it when he was Speaker? I can't remember exactly when. It must have been when he was Speaker, because when the Republicans were running to try and fix health care, it was during the Obamacare debates. They had an ad of someone who looked just like Paul Ryan wheeling a woman in a wheelchair off a cliff. And that's what they do. They go to fear first and foremost as their thing. I did see that abortion ad. And it was just so stupid. It's like state troopers in Alabama are waiting at the state line to pull over people who are looking to go to another state to get an abortion. It's just ridiculous. But like you were saying, one of the things in Chicago, which I'm sure you're familiar with, you have a lot of people going to these city council meetings or town council meetings or even neighborhood meetings, and they're really upset. And you're talking about, like you mentioned, in the black communities, that, hey, you've got to do something about this illegal immigration crisis. But they're being ignored.
Right. They are being ignored. And, I think Dan talks about this a lot, and I think he's right. It's not bad enough because it's frustrating, right? They're furious with Democrats and the way that they're having illegals come in and destroy their communities and take away all their resources, but they still vote for the same people. So I don't know if it's gotten bad enough for the people in Chicago, maybe for the union workers in Chicago or in New York. Maybe it's gotten bad enough for them, but there's a lot of other people in New York who are still going to vote for the same people. I think you're seeing in rural America, this is where there's a real shift, because I grew up in Wausau, Wisconsin. This is Marathon County. Wausau was actually, I believe it was the New York Times for several years in a row said Wausau is the most middle-class city, in America. That's where I grew up, the most middle-class city in America. And they went for Obama twice, and then they went for Trump twice. And I think I get it, right? Democrats have turned their back on those people. They used to represent them. They used to care about them. And suddenly now they've become the party of illegal migrants, the party of high taxes, the party of forever wars, the party of things that hurt working class Americans. And so I grew up in Wausau, but I think you're seeing this sentiment in really working class communities across rural America who haven't been accepted, haven't been blinded or inculcated with this woke mind virus, right? If you're just thinking about your wallet and your family and how you're going to survive, I think that really works out. That really is a reason why you're seeing that.
And Joe Biden, though, on the other hand, is oblivious to all of this. He thinks he's the most pro-union president that there's ever been.
By the way, I know I get criticized for being the most pro-union president in American history,
Hey,
but guess
she's doing
what?
awesome, Jim.
Middle class built this country, and unions built the middle class.
Good job.
Okay, hold on.
Awesome.
Hold on.
To the audience, I miss you guys, but I got to rock and roll. I got some kids thing going on. But you are in more than capable hands. Seriously, you guys are doing great. All right, got to go.
Thank you.
Dan didn't know I was playing a clip right there. We missed Dan. He just came in.
He came in for a second to say we were doing well.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're doing good. All right. So like you just heard there, thank you, Dan. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the support, but you always do that. So you just heard Biden there saying he's the most pro-union president ever. Let's hear